we are going to start a new chapter, Financial Statement Part 2 of Class 11, Chapter 10. So in this chapter, basically we will see how adjustments are done in your trading PL account and balance sheet. In previous chapter, Financial Statement Part 1, there we learned how to post the expense and income in your trading PL account and balance sheet. And here the same thing we will be doing, just little adjustment we will be doing. Some leftover figures which we didn't recorded by mistake, that we will enter in trading PL account and balance sheet, or some new figures that have come up at the end of the accounting period. Now we want to enter in our trading PL account. So that adjustment with journal entries that we will see one by one. So let's move ahead. So what do you mean by adjustment entries? So adjustment entries are those entries which need to be passed at the end of the accounting period so that true profit and loss and fair financial position of the business can be shown. Yes, very important point, true profit and loss. If we go on with the entries what we have done and we don't make adjustment, like any omitted entry that we haven't entered previously, but now we know that we have omitted one entry, and simply we ignore and go on with whatever entries we have done, it won't show the true profit and loss and financial position of our business. Trial balance is the base of preparing final accounts of any business enterprise. So this trial balance we have learned how to post into our trading PL account, taking the figures from our trial balance. So we know that trial balance is the base for preparing financial account of any business. And to see the arithmetical accuracy, we record all balances of debits and credit extracted from the ledger accounts, including cash book, in the statement. So basically in trial balance what we do, we check the arithmetical accuracy of all the ledgers that we have recorded. So in order to see our accuracy, we make trial balance. So there is a possibility some such items that were not detected at the time of preparing trial balance could not have been shown in the trial balance. So there are by mistake, or the trial balance have not shown those figures which we could not detect that it have been omitted or we have not recorded in the ledger and all. So some example for this adjustment entry is your closing stock. In your previous chapter, you have seen that in PL trading account, this closing stock which is entered both the places, in your trading account also, in your balance sheet also. So what was the general entry that time we learned? We have learned that for closing stock, the entry was so we know that closing stock is posted in the credit side of your trading account. So before making it enter in your trading account, we need to pass a journal entry. So journal entry we used to pass it as closing stock account debited to your trading account. So whatever may be the amount, okay, then only it is shown in your trading account. Which side? This side, closing stock. And this closing stock again is shown in balance sheet in asset side, current asset, again closing stock you will be showing here. So this closing stock which cannot be estimated during the accounting year. Yes, we cannot estimate it in the very beginning. So after the sales, everything, after the sales only, whatever leftover stock is there, leftover stock, that only we call it as your closing stock. So this leftover stock is nothing but your closing stock, which we will get to know only at the end of our accounting year. Same as depreciation also, which we charge to our asset at the end of the accounting year. So the whole year we will use this asset, and at the end we will be charging depreciation to our fixed asset. So these are the things which have to be done at the end of the accounting period, and for them we need to pass some adjustment entries. So why we need for adjustment? First one, to show your true income. So whatever closing stock, whatever depreciation, after those charging, we get to know what is our true figure of profit and loss amount, what is our true or net profit, what we are getting. To show the real value of asset and liabilities, actual values. Only after charging depreciation we know the actual value of our asset. Suppose say machinery. My machinery stands in the beginning of the year, say 5 lakhs. Now at the end of the year I will charge depreciation on it. Depreciation on it, suppose 10,000 I have charged. So now tell me the actual value of this machinery is nothing but 5 lakhs minus 10,000 is your 4,90,000. So this 4,90,000 is nothing but the true value of my machinery. So this adjustment, why we need adjustment? In order to check or in order to reflect the actual value of assets and liabilities, to record omissions. So to err is human. So by error, if we have omitted any entry, so here also we can do those adjustments. Record all outstanding and prepaid. What do you mean by outstanding? Outstanding means those expenses which are unpaid. Suppose salary. Salaries I need to pay this year, say 12,000. But I paid only 10,000. So what is the outstanding amount? Outstanding amount is 2,000. So 2,000 is the amount which I didn't pay. So it becomes my liability for the next year. So here, and again prepaid, what is prepaid? Suppose salary I need to pay is 12,000, but I have paid say 14,000. I need to pay 12,000 this year, but I have paid this year how much? 14,000. So this extra 2,000 is my prepaid expenses, like your prepaid mobile bill. No, beforehand you pay and then you use the data or use the talk time. So before you are paying and then you are availing the services, mobile services. Same way here, prepaid or in advance I have paid this expenses and it becomes my asset. It becomes asset because now I will enjoy this year. This year I won't have to pay for the use of this asset. So I have already paid it. So to record all accrued and advance income. Accrued means the income has arisen but not received. And advance income means same way, advance payment I received. Suppose a rent I charge rupees 2,000 per month, but the person has paid me 6,000. Wait. Person has paid me how much? 6,000. So this 6,000 becomes my advance. Advance for how many months? For 3 months. Okay. Now to create reserve and provisions. So why we create reserve provision? Provisions we create for any uncertainty. Reserves for any investment in project and all. So we create those reserves. Provisions like if in case of bad debts, any debtors, those who didn't pay. So we create provision for bad and doubtful debts. Provision for depreciation. So these provisions are created out of retained earnings. So in order to know the actual income, to actual retained earnings, we need to properly enter those adjustment or to do proper adjustment so that we are able to know the actual amount of income so that we can properly plan our reserves and provisions. Now the last point is to overcome the limitations of trial balance. There are some limitation of trial balance. Suppose closing stock is not reflected in trial balance, but here in trading and balance sheet we can enter this closing stock and we can get the actual figure of our profit and loss. So which are the items which usually need adjustments? This is your closing stock. Outstanding expense means those expenses which are not paid this year. Outstanding or accrued income, any outstanding or accrued income has arrived but not received. So prepaid expenses, expenses made in advance, so for those expenses we already paid. So like next year I am going to I have already paid electricity bill for the next year also, so advance payment I have made. So this is your prepaid expenses. Income received in advance or unearned income, like I said, the rent received in advance, so it will come under this category. Depreciation you charge in the end of the year. Interest on capital, so whatever the why you are paying interest on capital? Capital doesn't belong to the company, it is owner's capital which the company is having, and we are paying some interest to the owner's money. So he will charge some interest on the owner's money and it becomes our what, our interest, our expense. So that interest on capital. Interest on drawing, if the owner is drawing money out of business, so we also charge interest on drawings on that, whatever the money he has drawn from the capital. Bad debts, provision for bad debts, provision for the discount on debtors, provision for the discount on creditors. Okay, now from the very beginning, the first one we will start, adjustment for closing stock. So here before making it enter, as I told you, we need to write it as closing stock. Means what we used to write? We used to write trading account debited to closing, sorry, this is your closing stock account debited to trading account. So this we used to write. So we know that closing stock is reflected in your credit side of your trading account, and this closing stock again becomes the asset, current asset, and it is shown in your balance sheet under the assets column as your current assets. Outstanding expenses means those expenses we need to pay this year but we haven't paid. Suppose your salary, as I gave you one example, suppose this year is your 2021-22. Okay, so this year I need to pay a salary of 12,000 but I have made a payment of 10,000. So outstanding salary becomes my 2,000. So 2,000 is the outstanding salary which I need to pay. So in order to add this outstanding salary to your salary, whatever expenses you are showing in your trading account, we need to pass first journal entry. Journal entry will be your salary account debited to your outstanding salary. So now in your trading account, obviously salary account will be shown in your trading PL account, basically in PL account. So PL account, so this side is your PL, say this is your PL account. So salary is shown this side, debit side. So whatever outstanding salary is there, you will add outstanding salary. You will add this amount with the salary. Okay, this outstanding salary, and in the fair column it will be shown as your 12,000. So whatever outstanding, that means you haven't paid, you need to pay. This becomes your obligation that you are going to meet next year. So in balance sheet, it will be shown in your liabilities side as your current liabilities, that is your outstanding salary. So this amount you will show here. Okay. Next one is your prepaid expenses. So what is prepaid expenses? Prepaid expenses are those expenses which are in advance you have paid before receiving the product or services. So that becomes your prepaid expenses. So for prepaid expenses, journal entry becomes your prepaid expense account, prepaid expense account debited to the concerned expense account. Suppose prepaid rent. So I will write it as prepaid rent account debited to rent account. Any rent I am paying. Here rent is my expense, not income. So here I am basically the rent I am paying. So that rent. So here this rent will be shown in your PL account. So in PL account it will be shown in your debit side. So whatever rent is here, you will deduct this prepaid rent you will deduct, and then you will show the rent amount, because the prepaid amount, suppose whatever the rent, you will less the prepaid amount, then here you will show the actual amount, because this is for the next year. So in advance you have paid and it becomes my asset. It becomes my asset. So in balance sheet asset side, I will show under current asset your prepaid rent. So before enjoying the service of the building, before that building which I have taken on rent, before enjoying the service or before taking the service of that building, before staying in that building for that previous year, so 1 year before only I have paid, or in advance I have paid that rent. So it becomes my asset. So in asset side, I will write it as prepaid rent under current assets. Now what is accrued income? So here can you see one building is there. So ABC Private Limited let out there some vacant portion of building to Miss Rani. So this person is your Miss Rani to get some extra income. And rent due for the months she did not paid in time. So it becomes your accrued rent or accrued income. Your income has arrived but you haven't received it. So before making it enter into your trading account, you need to pass a journal entry. Accrued income account debited to income account. To income account. Suppose rent, because they have given the example of rent. So say this is your PL account. Now accrued income, you are receiving rent, monthly rent, okay. So any portion of rent she has not given, okay. We will assume that rent is 10,000 but she have paid only 8,000. So here rent, here 8,000, but you rent is 10,000 but you have received only 8,000. That means how much you haven't paid, or how much is the accrued income which have arisen. Say that is your 2,000. 2,000 is the accrued income or accrued rent that have arisen. So actual rent you will show in PL account as 10,000, and this accrued rent will be shown in your asset side, because this is the income which you didn't receive but you will receive it later. This is not an expense for you but you haven't received also. So income has not come, so it will come later. So this later is nothing but your asset. So in asset side you will show as accrued income. So how much you will show? 8,000, 2,000 or 10,000? You will show 2,000. Whatever the amount is, 2,000. One more example I can give, that is your commission. We usually in textbook have given commission. So commission, add accrued commission. If nothing is given, only accrued commission is given, so you simply write accrued commission. Okay, so that time you will pass entry as accrued income account debited to PL account. Okay, if no income has stated, like that respective income source is not described or not given, so you simply write accrued income account debited to PL account. So here simply you will enter commission, accrued commission or accrued rent, simply you will write 2000, okay, under that. So no adding anything. But if that respective income source is given, partially they have not received, that partially you are receiving, so that accrued income you will add up, or simply you will show directly in your PL account as accrued income or accrued rent or accrued commission. Now income received in advance. So income received but not earned during the accounting period, it is same as your accrued income. So same thing, okay, income account to income received in account. So same thing it will be your okay, income received in advance. Suppose rent, I have a tenant who is supposed to pay 2000 as rent per month, but she paid me 6000 in advance for 3 months. So now she haven't uh, stayed in that building, but still she have paid the 6000 as advance. So this advance income is nothing but what becomes my liability. The income I have received in advance, okay, but whatever it is, it becomes my liability. That means I have a burden that I should let her occupy for the coming months without getting money, because I have already received that money. So it becomes my liability to let her stay in that building for that certain period. So it is my liability to let her stay in that place. Okay, so adjustment entry is income account debited to your income received in advance. So it will be shown in your trading PL account. So basically it will be shown in your PL account. It will be shown in your PL account. PL account, income received in advance. So here you will write income so whatever income is there you deduct income received in advance, and whereas in your balance sheet you will show it in your liability side, because it becomes your liability, because without providing any service you have already taken the money for that. So it becomes your obligation, your liability, to let her stay for the period for which she has paid the advance. So here you will write as income received in advance or advance income. Okay, next one is the depreciation. So in depreciation chapter, there we have learned how to charge depreciation. So usually the entry for the depreciation we charge at the end of the year. So that is your depreciation account debited to asset account. So when you charge depreciation means in trading account, trading not PL account, trading PL account. So in your profit and loss account, here you will show it as depreciation. depreciation. And here in your balance sheet, here whatever the asset is, suppose this asset is your machinery. So on machinery you are charging depreciation. So here in asset, as we know, first we write our fixed asset. So this machinery comes under your fixed asset. First you will write the cost of the machinery that was standing in previous year, suppose 5 lakhs, and less whatever the depreciation this year. So depreciation say 10,000. Now you will show in your asset side the value of the machinery as 4,90,000. Same way you can do for furniture also. Same way for plant and machinery, land and building. Same way it will be same process only. Next is your bad debts. So bad debts is nothing but any amount that debtors didn't paid, so it becomes your bad debt. So in your PL or profit and loss account, here you will show it as bad debts, and in your balance sheet, debtors is our current asset. So in current asset, debtors is shown here. You will less the bad debts. Okay, bad debts. Then you will show the actual value of debtors, what is standing now. Here you will deduct the bad debts from the debtors. Suppose additional further debts happened this year, but you have not recorded previously. So what you will do? That further bad debts you will add here. So further bad debts you will add here with them, and then you will final amount you will write here. And here further bad debts means further deduction. Further deduction you will do. Further bad debts means further deduction from the debtors. Okay, and then you will show the actual debtors that is standing in our balance sheet. Now provision for bad debt. So it is same way. In your the entry will be profit and loss account debited to your provision for doubtful debt. So here in profit and loss account, it will be shown as provision for doubtful debt, and here you will write the amount. And in balance sheet, here you will write it as debtors less provision for doubtful debts. Okay, so final first debtors minus provision for doubtful debt, so you will write it here. Okay, so next one is your provision for discount on debtors. Now discount on debtors is provided for those debtors for early recovery of money. So basically we have to plan this provision from where? From our profit and loss. So whatever the net income, from where we will plan this much amount for that discount which we are going to provide for the debtors for early recovery of the money. So the entry is profit and loss account debited to provision for discount on debtors. So discount on debtors means, is it a expense or income for you? It becomes your expense. So in profit and loss, it will be shown in your where? In which side? In debit side, profit and loss account, and this is your balance sheet. So in profit and loss account, you will show it as provision for doubtful, discount on, PL account. So here you will write provision for discount on debtors. Here in balance sheet you will show it in which side? Here it will be deducted from the debtors. So in balance sheet here debtors is shown in your current asset. So from the debtors you will deduct what? This provision for discount on debtors. Okay. Okay. So here provision for discount on debtors. So here finally whatever the amount will come will show the actual debtors standing on the current date. So this is the actual debtors standing on the current date. So this is the actual debtors. So till now in debtors what and all we have deducted. Just for a quick recap, this is your deducted bad debts, then whatever amount you will get less provision for bad debts, then whatever amount you will get, then less provision for discount on debtors. Okay, so whatever discount you are providing to them also you are providing some discount, so it becomes your expense. So actually it finally whatever figure comes, that is the actual data standing in this balance sheet. So next one is your profit and loss outstanding manager commission. So manager commission, this is the entry profit and loss account, debited to outstanding manager commission. So in profit and loss account it stands in your debit side. So here you will show as outstanding manager commission, and in balance sheet it will be shown in your liability side. This is your balance sheet and it will be shown in your liability side, outstanding manager commission. That's it, nothing more. Now interest on capital, we know that interest is given which is added to the capital. Capital is not our capital, it is owner's money which he have given to us to do business. So the entry will be interest on capital account to the capital account. So in PL account it will be shown in debit side. Why? Because it is an expense for you, business has to give interest on that capital. So here you will write it as interest on capital account, and in balance sheet in liability side you know capital is shown. So in that capital amount you have to add interest on capital. So this after adding up here you will be showing, so this is your assets and this is your liabilities. So here you will be showing the actual amount of capital after adding the interest into your capital account. So thank you guys, please do like, subscribe. Thank you.